Out of all of the restaurants we've eaten at in Las Vegas, Gordon Ramsay Steak is one of our favorites. In fact, for 3 of our group, it is our favorite restaurant of all time. In this video, we're going to show you what we got on our most recent visit and give you a glimpse into why we think this is a must-eat restaurant in Las Vegas. And make sure to watch to the end to check out the most expensive steak here on the menu.
To start the meal, everyone is served table bread. They look like cute little muffins with 2 different types of bread. While they were both good, the wheat one was my favorite. The bread is served with butter that is absolutely divine. It is topped with black sea salt, and the crunchy texture mixed with the creamy butter and the soft bread was so good that I really had trouble pacing myself. Take my word for it, you won't want to skip the bread.
For my meal, I ordered the 8-ounce American Wagu skirt steak with a side of mashed potatoes. I requested that my steak be cooked medium well, and it was perfect. This steak had an incredible amount of flavor. It was buttery soft and practically melted in my mouth. Being a skirt steak, it was a thinner cut, but honestly, it was delicious and I wouldn't have wanted it any other way. The seasonings were perfect, and this steak had so much flavor that it didn't need any sauce. This 8-ounce Wagu skirt steak is the perfect option if you want an incredibly flavorful steak without being overly stuffed. Paired with my side of mashed potatoes, it was just the right amount to be 100% satisfied without becoming miserably full.
For my meal, I ordered a side of potatoes. They actually gave me a little more than normal and put it in a pretty bowl, which made me feel like I had actually ordered a meal. I know what you must be thinking. You went to a steak restaurant and only ordered potatoes? But let me ask you, if you've ever experienced the most heavenly potatoes of your life, would you pass them up if you had the chance to get them again? The answer is no. I wish I could swim in these bad boys. They are the creamiest and most flavorful potatoes in the history of mashed potatoes. I really feel like I can't describe just how outstanding this side dish is enough. These potatoes are worth coming to Vegas just to get them.
I ordered the Pan-Seared Salmon with a side of mashed potatoes, all to myself this time. The salmon always comes cooked just right with a slight crunch to the skin, and it is never dried out or undercooked. Time after time, this meal comes out flawlessly for me and makes it my go-to meal here at Gordon Ramsay Steak. If I understood our server right on our first visit, he informed me that the fish is flown in fresh daily, which is probably another reason this salmon is so amazing. The potatoes are a side that is technically large enough for 2 to 4 people, but they are so good I polished them off all by myself. The Crème Fraiche really makes these potatoes stay a notch above any others that I've had. They are probably the best mashed potatoes I have ever eaten.
Eating steak is one of my favorite hobbies, and eating a 38-ounce Tomahawk Steak at Gordon Ramsay Steak is one of my favorite places to hobby at. I've eaten this delicious steak here more than once, and there isn't a trip to Vegas that I don't find myself thinking about eating another. There's something special about eating a giant piece of perfectly cooked meat on a large rib bone that you could use to fight Philistines with. This steak always has a perfect crust, but also has the amazing tenderness you can only get with a Tomahawk Steak, and it is always well seasoned. I usually order my steak medium, and they didn't disappoint. This is the best steak I've ever had. Some people say the Tomahawk Steak is overrated, and while I can't vouch for every steakhouse's version of this intimidating cut of meat, I can say Gordon Ramsay Steak does it perfectly. If you've ever wanted to try a Tomahawk Steak, then I recommend giving this restaurant a try.
For my dessert, I ordered the Earl Grey Decadent cake. I've had this flourless cake twice now, and both times I've made the statement that it is the best dessert that I've eaten in Las Vegas, hands down. This dessert consists of flourless chocolate tea cake, Valrhona caramel mousse, salted caramel sauce, and cocoa nibs. It has a deep, rich, dark chocolate flavor, which, when paired with the caramel sauce, makes your mouth water. Overall, I highly recommend that you try this dessert, but be warned, it is extremely rich, and you will most likely not be able to finish it. Still, this cake is 1000% worth it.
For my dessert, I decided to try the Crème Fraiche cheesecake, which came with cherry foam and a puff pastry on top. I wasn't quite sure what to expect when I took my first bite, but my mind was blown. It was incredibly creamy and had a sweet, rich flavor that was absolutely delicious. The first bite I tried was just the plain cheesecake, so I decided to try a bite with the cherry foam and a cherry next. I was kind of expecting it to be really sour, but was pleasantly surprised to find that it was actually sweet and not sour at all. I really enjoyed this dessert. If you like cheesecake, you won't regret regret trying it.
You can't eat at a Gordon Ramsay restaurant and not try his world famous sticky toffee pudding. Seriously, I believe it's an actual law. There is something about the cold brown butter ice cream with the warm date cake while smothered in an incredible toffee sauce that is so addicting. That being said, Steak's version of my favorite dessert is not as good as the other Gordon Ramsay versions at his other restaurants. While the presentation of this dessert is top notch, there is something about the ice cream and toffee sauce being on top of the cake that combines the sweet flavors together the best. Now don't get me wrong, this is still an amazing dessert. I just prefer the versions where it's all together, not this build your own format.
Gordon Ramsay Steak is located in the Paris Las Vegas Hotel, which is one of our preferred places to stay when we visit Las Vegas. And you can click here now for a video with our top tips for staying at this famous Las Vegas resort.